My cheating wife begged me for forgiveness after I found out her affair. Then she slapped me cause I didn't. So I slept with the affair partner's wife and got my revenge. We got married almost 3 years ago. She started having an affair with her coworker 1 year ago. I got to know that because I saw his car outside my house one day. I had my suspicions. I hired a PI and gathered evidence that she was having an affair with him. I was angry. Then I got a call from the coworker's wife that she came to know about the affair. She only had texts they used to send, but I have all the receipts of their hangouts. Together, we decided to confront them. We used to meet up a lot. She told me she had suspected his affair since her pregnancy. They have 3 children together. One day we had an idea that we should sleep with each other as revenge. We did not going to lie. It felt good. We've been meeting and having sex for a while. She's an amazing woman. I would say she's better at some things in bed than my wife. Mostly I'm very angry towards my wife because in some of her texts with her affair partner, she and affair partner made fun of affair partner's wife saying things like she has gained weight. Her girl parts were destroyed and other disgusting stuff. I cannot believe that she would say something like this while being a woman. She even made fun of my fertility issue, saying that I'm not a man because the chances of me having kids is very low. I do not feel bad about my affair. I like the sex life I had with affair partner's wife way more than my wife. She hardly ever gives me oral, but expects me to give her one. At least affair partner's wife was more enthusiastic about it, and it was the best oral I ever had. Affair partner's wife wants to tell her husband. I guess we are both tired about carrying out the revenge affair. We both got carried away. We were both so driven by the revenge that we got addicted to it. I will confront my wife soon. I already have the divorce papers ready. Since we do not have a joint account or marital assets, it will be easy for U.S. affair partner's wife might have some problems because they have kids, but she has the power to take him to the cleaners. I know I sound like an awful person, but I'm already checked out of my marriage. Let's see some top comments. Careless Welder 40 says, I'm happy. You're happy. Don't get married to affair partner's wife. That way she can keep her alimony. Hope you guys live happy together when life gives you lemons. You make lemonade. The Opie replies, I'm not really sure if I want to pursue anything romantic now with her. Sex was great over the top, but we only hooked up for 2 months. If she's willing to pursue a relationship, then I would be okay with it. But my lawyer advised me and her to keep it quiet and not to make any further moves. Someone else responds, when all the dust settles, continue with the other betrayed spouse. Sometimes you have to remove the piece of crap people in your life to find a gem. Make sure and twist the knife deep when your ex finds out. She will know who's really infertile. The Opie replies, well, she is a beast in bed after the first time. I wondered if her husband was bad at sex or just an idiot to think my wife is better than her in bed. Updates. I totally forgot about this Reddit account. Well, I do have an update like most of you requested. I served her divorce papers on July 16th. I delayed because I needed to get some things in order. So I served her divorce papers at her work when she came home. I packed up her things and told her to go and stay with her dad. She did what typical cheaters do. She begged apologize and blamed me for her affair. I was prepared for all of that. She was stubborn and told me she would not leave and will fix our marriage. I reminded her the house belongs to my parents. Their name is on the house. If she doesn't leave, I can call them and have her evicted. I had already called her sister. I thought she would take her away from me. But her sister blamed me instead, that I'm not a good husband if I'm giving up my marriage that easily. This is where I became a bit petty and told her this is very hypocritical coming from a woman who left her husband for her. His cousin. I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. She slapped me. I warned her this is their last chance, or else I will call the police on her for assaulting me. After she left, the messages didn't stop. I didn't block her because I wanted to screenshot some of it. She says she was sorry, begging me to take her back. She mocked me and said she never enjoyed any lovemaking that we did, and she and her affair partner had sex on every furniture in our house. I don't know how much of it is true, but I will be replacing my furniture regardless. I wanted to tell her the other betrayed spouse, and I defiled her car by having sex on it. But I didn't the last time I spoke to her. She apologized to me. This time the apology seemed sincere. She told me she got carried away. Lately she's been thinking about having kids, as I have mentioned in my previous post. I cannot have children. She knew that and told me she wants to be child-free. but now she's in her mid-30s. She's been really wanting to become a mom, and the fact that I cannot give it to her angered her and cheated just to cope with it. She told me she was wrong and I was the best partner and husband anyone could ever have, but she just wanted more. I asked her why didn't she just say so we could have adopted or went to a sperm bank. I asked her if she was pregnant. I don't know, but it looked like she murmured. Yes. I knew this wasn't my baby. All hopes for reconciliation is out the window now. Imagine if I never discovered the affair, she would have passed this pregnancy as a miracle baby. I just congratulated her and said I hope she has a wonderful baby. I want this divorce ASAP as for a fair partner's wife. She also served her husband and is taking him to the cleaners. She's not backing down. I only talked to her a couple of times. She ran to the lot that she wasted her best years and youth on a disgusting man. She complained she left her modeling career just to be with him and whatnot. I think she still looks hot. We didn't have any contact for a while. There was one time she drunk texted me with a sleazy picture asking me to come over, but I refused. She did apologize after that. We're not planning on dating anytime soon. Not unless all the divorce proceedings are over, but I do miss her a lot. Also, I got a cat. My soon-to-be ex-wife hated cats. Now my house will be a cat kingdom. Let's go to the next cheating story. My 35 female, husband 36 male, had a months-long affair with my sister, 20 female. I've posted about this in here before, but ended up deleting the post on day one because my wayward husband found the post, since I didn't attempt to conceal my name or use a throwaway account. I've since just blocked him and his family because I don't really know who else to talk to about this stuff. So here I am again. It's been a little over 3 weeks, and for the most part friends and family don't check in with me as regularly. I'm tired of thinking about it, tired of talking about it, but also can't get away from it. He moved out the weekend before last, and I'm feeling some relief from not having him in sight all the time. But I'm also overwhelmed with having been thrown into a single parenthood so suddenly and unexpectedly. I feel like I don't have the space to grieve properly because I have the hearts of my children to look after. I got a lot of feedback on my original post, most of it useful and thoughtful, some of it not so much. I'm sure that not everyone who finds themselves reading this post will also have read the last one. But I did want to add a little bit of context for those who did. My husband and sister did not grow up around each other. So I'm not really concerned with the grooming aspect, at least not in a long-term sense. Growing up, I lived with my mother, and she lived with her father. She was only 3 when I moved out of the house, 6 by the time he and I got married. However, our being a mother-in-law family made visits home infrequent, and even then I'd usually go alone. He likely only ever met her 2 to 4 times at all before she moved to the same city as us late last year. Her version is that she was victimized by him. I know it sounds incredibly crappy to not believe someone claiming to be a victim, so I do want to clarify some things here. 1. I do believe that she is and has been a victim in the many sexual relationships she has had with much older men, and that she seeks these relationships as a result of some deep-seated traumas from her childhood. However, she has always entered into these relationships consensually and has never considered herself a victim of these men. Should the men have been or known better? Absolutely. Did they still actively engage in very inappropriate relationships with her, citing her consent as their gross justification? Absolutely. So while I guess I absolutely believe that my husband was the one who should have been responsible for managing their relationship as a much older player, I also do not believe that she ever felt victimized by him, but now claims to have been to earn my sympathy and forgiveness. His version is that she sought him out even prior to their first exchange, and then began indirectly threatening him that she would tell me if their relationship didn't continue. He was also very drunk the first time. She had had nothing to drink, and according to him, initiated the encounter. Things I do know. She sent a friend request to his FET Life account 5 days prior to the first encounter. She sent a friend request to her brother-in-law's social media account, which contained multiple nude photos. I believe she at least fantasized about him if she didn't actually plan to initiate sexual contact. Well, I ever know the full truth of what happened, or why? Probably not. I don't know if they're both lying, or if they both actually buy into the BS webs they're spinning. I don't know how much of it even matters anymore. And I don't know how I'll feel in 6 months, or a year, or 5 years. But today, right now, I don't know how I'll ever forgive either of them for what they've done. Also updated it, I did tell my children on the advice of my therapist because my children were very close to their aunt. This one couldn't be as easily managed by just omitting the why of our divorce. And there was a fear that it would come out later in an uncontrolled way, or that I would have to create a story around why their aunt is no longer in their lives. I felt like the only thing to do was to tell them enough of the truth, and it's all just been really hard. How does the community react? Glad you asked. Let's check. The first comment goes, she sent a friend request to his Vet Life account 5 days prior to the first encounter. She sent a friend request to her brother-in-law's social media account, which contained multiple nude photos. Oh, hell no. She's not the victim here at all. Not only is she going after older men, she's going after married men. She gets off on the silent competition between her and the betrayed wife. She got off on feeling like she was better than you, and then probably had a power trip knowing she caused the divorce. I would let everyone in the family know and cut contact. I don't even know if therapy would help with this woman, but expect her to try again with any man you bring around. The Opie replies. When she told me about everything, she admitted that she hated me at the time it started now. She says that he initiated and that she was groomed, told by him how awful I was. I believe that part is true, as he's often vented about me to inappropriate outlets and company and felt like he was her best friend. So I do believe that she reveled in the relationship and enjoyed that it was a secret, and very likely enjoyed that she spent every weekend at our house. During that time, our relationship was strained for some time, but slowly we became close, and it's at this point I think things started to change for her. She felt guilty for what she had done, confessed, and now I think she's trying to salvage whatever she can by telling a story that she can live with. I think she did an awful thing and did it with intention, and I think that she may even have convinced herself that she is a victim. But I don't think I'll ever be able to forgive her as of now. I have no plans to ever be in her presence again or allow my children to be. Although once they're adults, that decision will be theirs to make. Blade 98 says,
I'm sorry, OP.
Your friends and family don't sound like good people. I've supported several friends through infidelity. I can't imagine abandoning someone in pain, especially someone I love and care about. The Opie replies, I don't think they mean to be negligent. I think they just don't know what to do or say, and I live very far away from any family currently. In the first few days, I was constantly being checked up on, but that has since dwindled. My sisters in particular are struggling with knowing how to love both me and the affair partner through this. I think that's something that has been hard for us all. I could never ask them to not still be there for her, but the emotional part of me is hurt by it at the same time. I know that part will get easier eventually. Update. Why the truth matters so much. Despite one Redditor's insistence that I'm just pain shopping, I can't help but want to know everything that happened, not so much the intimate details of each encounter, but the feelings and motivations on the parts of both my wayward husband and sister. My sister insists that my wayward husband is a sexual predator that groomed to manipulate her, and who was loaning her money while she was out of work, and so felt obligated to continue their affair. To be clear, she didn't lose her job until after the first encounter. My wayward husband insists that my sister is basically a sociopath who baited and pursued him, initiated the first encounter, wanted him to leave me for her, and then made subtle threats that she would tell me if the affair didn't continue. It's so difficult for me to believe that either of these people I have loved and known so well are either a predator or manipulative sociopath. They're both coming down hard on me for not believing their individual versions and really not allowing me all that much grace or understanding when it comes to my inability to detect or know the truth. I think that right now it feels very difficult for me to know how to process everything and begin to heal if I can't even really understand why it all happened in the first place. I'm trying to process the version that is most digestible to me, but that doesn't mean that it is accurate at all. My sister says that she would provide me with any evidence she could and help me to see the full picture. But when I've asked her for specific things, she comes mad that if I need proof, I must not believe her. When I ask my wayward husband for details or specific questions, or even just seem angry in his presence, he tells me that he just can't do this and then are rubbing his face in it or making him my punching bag, and keeps making threats to unalive himself. He's been in this crap since January, but as of today, I've known about it for less than a month. I'm still just in the earliest stages of processing it all. of figuring out what my and my children's new lives look like, of learning how to navigate all of this difficult legal stuff I have no prior experience with, of carrying on in my personal and professional lives while simultaneously carrying all of the heaviness of this emotional burden around with me. And still neither of them seem to understand my anger or inability to trust anything they say. They have centered themselves in this and completely forgotten about what they've done to me and my children, and how long our journey to sort out this grief will take. I'm just so angry. I can deal with all the sadness, but this rage feels like it might consume me, and I don't know what to do with it all. I don't know how to get away from it or endure it. I'm just so exhausted. Edited to add that Opie in here contains more details about the affair itself. Update. It hasn't even been 2 months since I found out, but it feels like it's been 10 times that long. It's already hard to remember the time before all of this. I know it's been recommended that we not go this route, but we've decided to move ahead with divorce proceedings using a mediator only. I do believe that he is genuinely remorseful, and all I want is to do this amicably so that it will have as little impact as possible on the kids. We've come to agreements on everything outlined in the divorce decree documents, and I'm satisfied with the decisions we've made. I don't care about entitlement. I just want to be done with it. I'm in therapy, and I think it's helping me to process everything, although it does seem like my most difficult days are always the ones following my sessions. I'd really like to go back to talking to my therapist about anything but this, but I know that this part can't be sped up or skipped over. My sister reached out to me after my request that we remain no contact. She was blocked everywhere except for my phone number. She has since been blocked there as well. During that brief interaction, she asked if she could contact my children, and I asked that she please not attempt to contact them. She became angry and sent me a pointed message. I didn't respond a few days later. She sent my middle-list kiddo a request to join a game on Roblox. I missed that one. My kiddo deleted and blocked her from the app, but I'm upset that my sister did not respect my request that they not be contacted. I'm considering filing for a restraining order, but I don't know if that's the right thing. I hate that I'm questioning so many of my choices. I'm not interested in petty revenge or weaponizing my children against her, but clearly asking her is not enough. She has tickets to a concert in our state in August, and I'm worried that she will attempt to see them somehow. I'm still just sort of emotionally floundering. My emotions are less heightened for sure, and the kids and I just returned from a 4-day trip to the beach in Disney. That helped. I'm not checking in with my family much anymore because I don't want them to have to rehash the same things over and over with me. I know it must be exhausting for them too. I'm just feeling very isolated lately, and I'm not sure how to mitigate that. Thanks for being here. Updated to add, I'm so thankful for all the support and advice I've received here. I wanted to address some of the common responses. My soon-to-be ex-husband is not in contact with my sister either. He fully supports the kids remaining no contact with her, as it is now known that she is lying in her claim to have been victimized by him. Don't worry. I'm still holding him accountable for the role he played, but knowing what I know now, I'm privy to the more nuanced nature of his role. My state actually offers a protective order against harassment which varies from a CPO or RO, and that emotional distress isn't an acceptable reason for applying for one. She has surely caused that for me and them. Now let's see some top comments. Dubious People Pleaser says, please remember to notify their school that she is not allowed to come near them, and to notify the police if she tries. Someone else adds 100, notify anyone that will have the kids out of your supervision. Their friends' parents, camps, childcare, etc. I'm so sorry, Opie. Maybe try joining a hobby group, bowling league, art class, etc. That way you get social interaction with people that you don't have to keep reliving this with, and just have some fun.